Many years ago, when I was a young student in New York City, I decided that if I had a contribution to make in the field of dance, that it would not be as a professional dancer, but that I would come back to Salt Lake City and see what I could do about bringing a measure of beauty into the life of a child through dance as an art form. I felt there must be another way to teach children wherein a measure of the true beauty of the child could come through. And so I began to develop my own philosophy of teaching.
I feel like I was given a great gift when I was 3, and that gift came from a woman named Virginia Tanner. She didn't teach me how to dance as much as she taught me how to see and how to have an opinion, how to feel my self-worth, how to challenge myself, how to put things together, how to make something meaningful out of what I was. She gave me a sense of being a valuable person.
Virginia had a tremendous respect for the creative spark in each child, and she cared for us as if we were her own children. She taught inductively, and she made each idea important. She had the amazing facility to allow us to express our own best selves through the medium of dance. She opened our minds, and more importantly, she opened our imaginations.
When I was a very young child, moving was tremendously important to me. In fact, my mother said that if I was going to be upside down half my life, that I had to be decent. So she made me a pair of black bloomers so that I could hang by my knees from the trees, turn cartwheels, do flips, do whatever I enjoyed doing. And I spent a great deal of time being a very physically active child. I recall that there wasn't any dancing taught in our area that was particularly satisfying to me, and so my father would bring home good records, put them on the wind-up gramophone, and sit on the front porch, and just at dusk I would improvise for my father. This gave me the opportunity to understand and know good music, to explore, to experiment, and feel free to do whatever I chose to do. And it was a wonderful training period. I recall that I would go up to the corner where the big arc light was shining and stand under that arc light and make shadows with my body. And I was fascinated by how long my arms could go in the shadows and where my legs could be and where my back could be. And this was an unusually exciting, exploring experience for me. And my family encouraged me to do this, not that they ever dreamed that I was going to be a dancer.
Virginia Tanner began her formal dance training at the University of Utah. A turning point in her life occurred when she met Doris Humphrey in Steamboat Springs, Colorado during the summer of 1938. The association was to be a long and important one. It inspired Virginia to single-handedly present the first professional modern dance concert ever seen in Salt Lake City when she arranged for the famous Humphrey Weidman Company to perform. It then led Virginia to New York City to study with Miss Humphrey. Virginia returned to the University of Utah in 1940 to complete her degree. She began teaching children in the ballroom of the McCune School of Music and Art in the early 40s, and in 1949 she established the Children's Dance Theater. That year she invited Doris Humphrey to see the children perform in their first formal concert in Kingsbury Hall. Miss Humphrey was so impressed by the young dancers that she commented, "Your children have left an indelible impression with me of true creative dance. Your children offer a wonderful proof of the power of the young artist, guided wisely, untarnished by dogma or routine, unstereotyped and lovely. This source of fresh ideas in dance art is a treasure house to which you have found the key." In 1953, the Children's Dance Theater received unprecedented invitations to perform at Ted Shawn's famous Jacob's Pillow in Massachusetts, at Connecticut College School of Dance, and at New York University Summer Camp. A photographer from Life magazine captured the events in a cover story. Since that summer, the Children's Dance Theater has received national coverage in many magazines and television programs. The children have successfully captured worldwide respect from performers and educators. In the years that Virginia was dedicating so much to the children in Salt Lake City, she was also helping to develop a national program for dance education through the National Endowment for the Arts program titled Arts Impact, and later, Artists in Schools. At the same time, a national publishing company invited her contribution to its textbooks on the arts for children.
Closing or opening? Opening. Opening. Smoothly. Wonderful, Rachel. All right. Virginia's philosophy of teaching was really to attend to one's art form, which I think is really universal in any art form. But it's a matter of building within children a strong technical background, and also then giving them the ability to use the creative process to problem solve, to put things before them that challenge their imagination, that challenge their minds in every way. And in that way, each of us who came through this philosophy of teaching turned out as very different teachers, in that we use as many resources as possible to get to each child. Sometimes that's a visual object, sometimes that's a piece of music, sometimes it's a purely movement idea. So that inspiration may come from a season of the year, from a leaf that falls from a tree, from a poem, from a piece of music, from another dancer, from an isolated gesture, all of those special ideas. Teaching children also the beginnings of the craft of choreography and letting them know about musical forms, art forms, so they begin to put that together, and that becomes part of their vocabulary for dance.
So many times when the word creativity is mentioned, people think, well, yes, just give the child a piece of paper and paints and let him draw whatever he chooses, or to take a set of blocks and build whatever comes to mind, or to put it on a piece of music and let them move in any way they want. This is important, but it's only a minute part of creative guidance. Beautiful, very nice. We took another piece of paper, another color, and cut it into 4 equal sizes. This is the symbol that has what? 4 counts. What else? There's the corner note, but how many sounds do I have down here? 4. So here you go, clapping it through twice for me. And 1, 2, 3, happy spirit. Now let me see if you can move it. You chose for this movement to have its isolation. You may change letters, but you don't move out in space. Here we go. Find your starting place. And 1. Any one of these that you want, but you're not organizing it into a counting system. You're going to take all of those sound patterns that you've been working on and scramble them up and make it like a top flower. That means you may use whichever pattern you want to when you want to do it. That's the whole class classic. And one more time. You're going to really repeat this particular pattern. Let me hear the whole class.
Virginia's studio was a fascinating place to grow up. There were always very famous visitors paying calls. I don't think I truly appreciated the studio until well, until now, when I look back and remember that I met Ruth St. Denis at Virginia's studio. I met Doris Humphrey. I met Jose Limon. I met the greats of modern dance. Having classes with Charles Weidman in the studio, I'll never forget. Being taught by Jose Limon. These are great treasures. These are great memories. We studied the finest technique. We studied Graham technique, Limon technique, Humphrey technique, Weidman. We studied ballet. She had classes in ballet. We studied the best of everything. We had art classes. We had classes in design, in choreography, in music. And I can't think of a better preparation for a dancer than the preparation that Virginia gave me. We toured even as small children, and so we had to be very adult, and yet not dance like adults. We were always encouraged to express our own age, our own interests. We were responsible for selecting our own music and dancing about the things that were interesting to us.
We take children, and instead of superimposing an adult technique on the child's mind and body, we find exactly the right thing for their age level and for their young bodies to improve an awareness in the moving of their backs, their arms, their shoulders, their feet, so that they gain greater agility, balance, and control. We work with them through rhythm, through many, many aspects of rhythm, so that they're aware of the pulse, so that they're aware of change of timing and a change of a breath rhythm, which is the rise and the fall of one's own breath. And we really use that as a knowledgeable working tool. And so I have found many ways to adapt this, not to the adult professional dancer, but to the child in dance. We have found ways to enhance their use of space, their change of levels, their awareness of each other, their capacity to solve problems, so that each child's way of doing a thing can be equally right, that it isn't a matter of I'm as good as you are or you are as good as I am, but that all of the children can be as good as they have the capacity to be. And in teaching in this way, the child learns to really explore, to experiment, to solve problems, to delve beyond that which is easy. Here in the studio, we get the child to reach beyond what's easy, to stretch a little higher, to go a little further, to try again, to take time to think and to probe and to investigate.
Virginia was always searching for new ideas and stimuli to encourage us to find inventive movement. As with the silly putty, she would ask, "How does it fall? Is it noisy? Can you make your own body into a shape and slowly fall to the ground without making a sound?" Compare that to the descent of a feather. It changes its path and its energy, but it is still very quiet. On tour in Hawaii, I remember Virginia finding 3 seed pods which had opened in varying degrees. She used these to teach the concept of opening and closing movement.